Hello everyone, welcome to this video on profit and loss basics. This video is brought to you by Learning Made Easy team, a team of IIM grads in association with our e-learning partner GTCUBE, Get to the Top. So you can find full-length courses for your exam preparation, placement preparation in gtcube.com/store, where you can also get to see videos structured in a proper course along with practice questions, hundreds of practice questions to give you a good practice on the same concepts that are being discussed. Right, so let's get started. So let's get with a small story, right? Okay, so let's say there is a person A, right, and this person B and person C, right? In this big world, A sold a bike for ₹1,000 to B. That is the transaction amount that has happened. B purchased the bike from A for ₹1,000, and then B did some repairs, right? Let's assume the cost is 0 for the repairs. He himself is a mechanic, and then he did a further transaction with C for ₹1,500. That is, he sold the bike to C for ₹1,500, right? So for profit and loss, the things that you need to always understand are selling price, right, cost price, profit, loss, or profit or loss percentage, right? So these are the standard ones that you get the information in, and also you have to find these values only depending on what's given and what's being asked, right? Let's get back to the story. So let's start with the B. So from this story, what is the cost price of bike for B? Right, B got this for ₹1,000, so that's the cost price, right? Cost at which a person got the product is basically the cost price, right? If by chance there was some repairs cost, right, let's assume it's ₹100 or something, then the cost price would be actually 1,100, right? Let's just ignore this. Let's assume that's the cost price of the bike. Now what is the selling price of the bike for B? This is for entire perspective of B, okay? He sold the bike to for ₹1,500 to C, right? So selling price is the price at which the seller or the person whom we are concerned about is actually selling the product to some other person, customer or someone else. So B sold the bike for ₹1,500. So what is the profit or loss? Formula we do is selling price minus cost price. So that's it, right? If I buy a product for ₹1,000 and I sell for 1,500, that means I get some profit. What is that profit? That additional difference, right? So that's ₹500. Right? If I sold it at a lesser price, let's say 800 only, that's 800 minus 1,000 would give me minus 200. That's my loss. Right? If I'm talking about profit or loss percentage, what do? We do selling price minus cost price by cost price into 100. This is a bit similar to the percentages video. If you have seen it, if not, do watch that. That's a basic video that would help you understand this much better. So selling price minus cost price by cost price into 100. Right, it's like the final value minus initial by initial into 100 sort of it. So here I have a selling price minus cost price is 500 and 1,000 is my cost price into 100. So that's 2Z to 50Z. So I made B made a 50% profit. Right, now let's get to the story of A. What is the selling price of the bike for A? That's ₹1,000, right? That's the price at which he sold the bike to B. What is the cost price of the bike? There's no part, the story is not complete to answer that, right? So it's still incomplete. So get that understanding, that is an intentional thing. You have to understand there is no universal profit or loss, right? It's a series of transactions that keep happening in this world. So you need to always focus on what's the focal point or what's the perspective from which I have to calculate the profit or selling price, right? Selling price of bike for A is not same as selling price of bike for B, right? It's going to be different. So there are different people, different transactions are happening. So you have to be careful on that. So the profit or loss would also be corresponding to this selling price minus cost price, right? 1,000 minus whatever it is. If it's ₹800, just assume that we fill the story. So it is ₹200 is his profit, right? Something like that. Something similar for C. I know the cost price of bike for C is 1,500, right? That's the price at which he got the bike. Sorry. Right? So that's ₹1,500. What's the selling price? No, the story is not complete. So I can't answer this for C. So hence I can't answer the profit and loss also for C. I can only answer from this story the profit and loss, selling price and cost price of B. That's the information we have, right? So understand the cost price is the price at which a person purchases a product. Selling price is the price at which the transaction finally happens. That is basically the person selling the product to someone else, the customer. According to that, I can find the profit or loss, that's in rupees or dollars, the absolute money, the loss or profit percentage by using this formula. Right? Now, let's sort of summarize the thing, right? So what happens is this. You should always have this, whenever you see a profit and loss question. From the question, from a person's perspective, what is the selling price, what is the cost price, and what is the profit or loss amount or profit or loss percentage, right? They would give you two of these three, right? Directly, or maybe you might have to apply it twice, right? Where you find from someone else the selling price or cost price, the clue is given from which you find them, and then finally you have to apply the formula because you know two things and you have to find the third thing. That's always going to be the structure of a problem. There will be no solution fundamentally without having this idea of giving two of these three and then asking you to find if it's a profit and loss generally, right? So let's sort of the same formula. We have just done three cases, so actually it's case 2 and case 3 sort of it. So when we know selling price and cost price, so we can find the profit and loss in rupees or dollars, the absolute thing, and the profit or loss percentage. The profit and loss formula is selling price minus cost price. If cost price is more than selling price, obviously I would get a loss, right? Negative value. That would be loss, would be a negative value. If it's greater, selling price is greater, I'll get a positive value, that's profit. The profit or loss percentage is the selling price minus cost price by cost price into 100, right? So I can find it if I know, if I get an information giving me selling price and cost price and ask me to find this parts, this is how I find it, right? It can happen that I give you cost price, I give you that he sold at a profit or loss for some percentage and ask you what is the selling price, right? So selling price is cost price plus the profit or loss. If loss is minus 200, that would be, if cost price is 1000, so it will become 1000 minus 200. If I made a profit, it will become 1000 plus 200, right? If it's a profit, if it's a loss, that's how the signs would be. If it's in the percentage, right, I have to do cost price plus percentage of cost price. If I sold a product at cost price 100 rupees and I made a profit of 10%, that is 10% of cost price. Sometimes I find students seeing that because they gave selling price and not cost price, they do the 10% of profit or loss on selling price and then add or subtract from selling price. Please do not do it. You only use this part when I know the cost price. This cost price plus the profit or loss percentage is always done of cost price, right? That's the base value that you need to use. So 10% of 100 is the cost price. That's 10 plus 100. That's 110. I know selling price is 110 for this, right? That's how you do it. The type is I give you selling price, I give you profit or loss percentage or profit or loss amount and ask you what is the cost price. Simple. Cost price is selling price minus profit or loss amount. So here it's minus, right? If I made a positive profit, I would be subtracting. If I sell a product at 200 rupees, that's my selling price, and I made a profit of 200 rupees, I sell minus 200. That's 1000, right? I sell a product at 200, I made a loss of minus 200. This will be minus of minus is plus, so that will be 1400 is my cost price, right? You have to be careful on that. Something similar for this also. The formula for cost price is selling price by 1 plus or minus profit or loss percentage. I use whatever is the sign. If it's profit, I use plus. If not, I have to do minus, right? We will solve some questions to give you clarity, but just still, let's take the selling price is 120 and I sold at a profit of 20%, right? So that will be 1 plus 20%. That's because profit. 20% is 20 by 100, as I said, right? That's 0.2. That's 120 by 1.2. That's 100 rupees is my cost price, right? You can always find, see, it's the same formula, okay? This is the same formula that is being changed in this way and this way based on what is being asked to be found, right? Nothing different. I'm just playing around the same variables, the 3 variables, to put it in an equation form. If you are someone who likes to not remember formulas, right, just remember this formula. Cost price plus profit or loss percentage of cost price is selling price, and everything you can find by assuming whatever you don't know as a variable, and the rest all you fill it and you can fill that, right? So let's continue with the story to understand one more concept, right? A sold the bike to B for 1000 rupees, B sold the bike to C for 1500. Let's say C owns a showroom, right? And what did he say? He put a mark price or MRP in a way, like maximum retail price is MRP, but let's assume the tag of a bike shows it's 2000 rupees, right? And then C said, right, D, you're a good friend of mine, so I'm going to give you a 10% discount, right? That's because of our friendship. So what is the price at which the transaction happens? It is mark price minus the discount percentage is always on mark price, right? 200,000 is the mark price. The 10% discount is on 2000, right? This is 10 by 100, sorry, into 2000. That's gonna be 200. 2000 minus 200 is 1800, right? So that means the net transaction is happening at 1800 rupees. Understand the transaction price is this for C and D. What is the cost price of bike? For D, it is 1800. Okay, understand that. From the perspective of D, is buying at this price. The selling price of bike for C is 1800 rupees because he's selling at this price, right? There is no formula saying cost price is always mark price minus discount percentage of mark price. No. If the question is asking me if he C purchased the product at 1500, right, and then he put a tag of a mark price of 2000 and gave a discount of 10% to D, what is the profit of C? Then what do you need to do? Understand the cost price for C is 1500, the selling price for C is 1800, right? And then the profit is 300 rupees, 1800 minus C. That's different from D. I don't know the selling price for D. The cost price of bike for D is 1800. Right? Just understand, this is formula for the transaction price, mark price minus the discount percentage of mark price. Do not get confused if you ever see a formula saying this is equals to cost price or selling price, right? You can't say, like, it just depends on the perspective, right? From whose perspective it's cost price and whose perspective is selling price. Just understand that. Who are the two people? Who is selling? For him it's the selling price. Who is buying? For him it's the cost price of the product, right? Just to summarize this formula again, the transaction price, sort of to remove the confusion, we call this as transaction price, is mark price minus discount percentage of mark price. Once I know the transaction price, in our story, that's selling price of bike for C, because C is selling at the rupees of 800 to D after giving the discount, and that's the price at which D is buying it. That's why it's the cost price of bike for D, right? So now let's get started solving some problems, right? So again, we do recommend always the students to pass the video, right? These questions would be at a basic level. You can indeed try them based on the concepts we have covered. If you are confused, do look at the explanation which is provided earlier, right? Do it till you get clarity. Yes, we do solve it now, but it's always good to pass, try it on your own and then give it a shot and then look at the solution, right? So let's look at this. It says a shopkeeper purchased a book for rupees 500 and sold it for rupees 800. What is the profit percentage earned by the shopkeeper from his book? So see, understand, always my eyes should look for cost price, selling price, right? Profit or loss percentage, right? They gave me cost price of book is 500 rupees. They gave me selling price is 800 rupees and they are asking me to find this, right? So what is the formula for this? As we have discussed, SP minus CP by cost price into 100. That's 800 minus 500 by 500 into 100, right? That's 300 by 500, right, into 100, right? That's gonna be 320, 60%, right? That's the profit. 60% is the profit percentage and the profit value is 800 minus 500 is 300 rupees, right? That's the question. Now look at the next question, right? Again, pass and try it, right? Now let's purchase the book for rupees 500. So the cost price is given as 500 and sold it at a loss of 20%, right? They gave that I made a loss of 20%. What is the price of book at which the shopkeeper sold the book to the customer? So they are asking me to find the selling price of the book for shopkeeper, right? What did we say? The selling price is cost price plus or minus the loss percentage or profit percentage, right, of the cost price. I know that I made loss, so I have to do minus. So that is 500 minus 20% of 500. That's 20 by 100 into 500, right? That's basically 100. 500 minus 100 is 400 rupees. So that's my selling price of the book, right? Same, I know cost price, I know loss or profit percentage, and I'm asked to find the selling price. Now see this one, right? Again pass and try. A shopkeeper sold a book for rupees 300, so that says the selling price is rupees 300, right? He made a profit percentage of 50%. They're asking me what is the cost price, right? Again, we know two things. We can obviously find the third one. The formula is selling price by 1 plus profit percentage. That is 300 by 1 plus 50 percentage. 50 percentage is 50 by 100. That's 0.5 in decimal or 1 by 2 in fraction. Right? That's 300 by 1.5. That's going to be 200. Right? So the cost price is 200 rupees. Right? So see, if we are not comfortable with these formulas, it is in the very early phase, right? If you have not observed the formulas in this pattern, do take a pass and try to imbibe into your, like trying and practicing them by looking back at these formulas. Right? If you are not someone who's comfortable using the formulas and you feel that it's good to understand concept and solve them, but yeah, then also go with this same selling price is cost price plus the profit percentage of cost price, right? So what would I do? Selling price is 300, the cost price is unknown, so I would take x, 50 percentage of x, right? That is x plus 50 by 100 into x, that's right, 1 2s are, that's 3x by 2 or 1.5x is equals to 300. So 1.5 200s are, so x is 200 rupees, right? It's the same thing. Like it's just that I'm sort of cutting a 1 or 2 steps by using this. This formula is what going to give me this formula as well, right? So don't worry if you are not remembering these formulas. Do take a note and then try to use them. Once you solve few problems, it will be very easy for you to use these formulas. Right, now if you observe the last 3 problems, we have done all the 3 cases. I know the selling price and cost price, I can find the profit percent. I know the selling price and profit percent, I can find the cost price. I know the cost price and profit percent, I can find the selling price. Now this problem is talking about mark price, like shopkeeper marks price of rupees 600 on a book and gave a discount, right? So it says the mark price is 600 rupees and the discount percentage is 20%. What is the transaction price? Mark price minus discount percentage of mark price, right? That's 600 minus 20% of 600, right? I do 20 by 100 into 600, that's gonna give me 120, right? 20 into 6, 120, 600 minus 120 is 480, right? That's 480 rupees. That's the price at which the transaction is happening. That means that's the selling price for shopkeeper, right? Because shopkeeper is selling the product at 480 rupees after giving the discount. What is the cost price? We don't know. They said what is the cost price of the book for the shopkeeper, and he gained a profit percentage of 25%, right? You see, this could have been a direct question which we have done earlier. I give you selling price, I give you profit percent, I ask you cost price. This is a question where I'm slightly making it a difficult one by adding one more layer where I'm giving you mark price and discount percent so that you use that to find the selling price. Once I find the selling price, I again use the same thing. So cost price is selling price by 1 plus profit percent. That's 480 by 1 plus 25%. That's 25 by 100 is 0.25. That's 480 by 1.25. Right. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit complex, I guess. Let's see what's it's going to give me. T by 125, 25 5s are, 25 4s are, right? 5 9s are, 96 are, right? This will be 384. Right, 384 rupees. Yeah, it's not that easy to calculate, but it's okay, don't worry. The idea is this, right? Once you figure out, so always doesn't matter how complex the problem is, break it down, look for this. I am being asked to find the cost price for the shopkeeper, so I know the profit percentage. And do I know anything on selling price? No, not directly, but they give a hint from mark price and discount price from which I can find the transaction price. So do this, find the selling price and then do it, right? It's always like that. You should always look for the selling price, cost price and the profit or loss percentage or money and see what is given, what is not given. If you have more than one which is not given, so you might have a clue hidden which would give you that unknown quantity of those two, and finally you have to find the third unknown quantity of these three: selling price, cost price and profit or loss percentage. Right? This question is a very standard question and I see most of the students doing it wrong. So it says a shopkeeper sells 2 books at same price. He sells one book at a profit of 10%, another book at a loss of 10%. So what is his overall profit or loss percentage on the transaction? I see good number of students do it as 0% because plus 10 and minus 10 is 0. Again, it's wrong. You see, the selling price is same, right? Let's say product 1 and product 2. Yes, the selling price is same. Let's call it as 100. Why did I take 100? I could take a variable also. They say it's the same price. Again, right? If you have seen the percentages video, if not, do check that out where we have talked these basics. If the question is talking about the overall profit or loss percentage or overall percentage change, you can always take some 100 some basic values. Assume that if you are good with numbers. If not, you can do with a variable also. That's not going to change the answer. It's just about how fast you would be with the calculations, right? If the question is asking you what is the overall profit in money, yes, this question can't be answered because I have no clue on the selling price and the cost price. I just gave me the percent of profit and loss, right? The actual values will vary depending on what I assume. 100 and 100 gives me different from 1000 and 1000, right? So that's why you don't assume this unless they ask you the overall percentage change or profit or loss percentage. Now, what is the profit percentage for the first one? Plus 10. And what is the profit or loss percentage for the second one? It's minus 10. Right? I just need to find the cost price of each. Right? Just break it down. Right? Doesn't matter how many products you have. If they are different, break it down. Write for one and then multiply the 10. If there are 10 products of same type, if selling price of one is 100, the 10 would be 10 into 100, 1000, right? And the cost price also I find for one and then do it and then do whatever I need to do. Right? So it is cost price, selling price by 1 plus profit percentage. Right? It will come as 100 by 1 plus 10%. I can write as 10 by 100 is 0.1. So 100 by 1.1. Right? So that would be 1000 by 11. So 11 9s are 99. And then it would be again 1 0. So 11 zeros are again it's 100. 90.99. I'll get something like this. What is the cost price of 2? Selling price by 1 minus loss percent. So that will be 100 by 1 minus 0.1. 10% is 0.1. That's 100 by 0.9. Right? That would give me something like 1000 by 9. That's gonna be 9 ones are 9. 9 ones are 9. So it is going on like, right? Something like that. So what is my total cost price of the entire transaction? 1 plus 2. So that is 90.9 plus 111.11, right? So this will come as I'm sort of rounding it off. 9 plus 1 is 0. I'll get 1, right? It's going to be 2 and then 202, right? Something of that sort. It's going to be 2.2019 something. We'll stop it here, like an approximation, right? And what is the selling price of both? 100 plus 100, right? That's the selling price of both. That's 200. So I made the transaction is a loss. 200 minus 202 by 202 into 100. Right, it's going to be minus 2 by 202 into 100. That's going to be 101 minus 100 by 101 is going to be 0.9% or something. I'm just very approximating it. But yeah, it depends on how close the options are, and it's sort of made a bit complex calculation. But get the understanding that do not do it 0 just because the percentage is plus 10 and minus 10. The profit percentages and loss percentages are done on cost price. If the selling price are same, the cost price won't be same. You see, the cost price is one is 90 less than 100, another is more than that, because I'm making profit on one and loss on another, right? So in that case, you just have to be careful. Find the cost price, add them to find the entire cost price of 2 products, find the selling price, and then do it for the entire transaction. Right, that's it. Thank you for watching this video. Do visit our partners website gtcube.com/store for full length courses where you see these videos put up in a proper course structure, where you'll also get a good number of hundreds of practice questions on different topics on the concepts that are being covered. Right, it will enhance your learning and make it a full, full to full, end-to-end learning actually. Also, do like our partners Facebook page www.facebook.com/gtcube3. We are coming up with quite a few new courses, for all the competitive exams and placement preparation, etc. So you would find all the updates from our partner side, and do like the Facebook page for those updates. Thank you for watching this video. Let's meet in the next video.